Welcome everyone to Young at Heart, session number 168. I'm Father James DeLucio here in the Paulist Fathers Rectory Library, ready, willing, and able to offer you on this Friday night nursery rhymes, stories, songs, poems, Mother Goose, Aesop's fables, Lewis Carroll, limericks, and larks, and such, to keep us all young at heart. This is Friday evening, late. It's a late night, young at heart. It's 9:49 p.m. here Eastern Standard Time on Friday, September 11th. And in light of the tragedy that we continue to remember of all those lives lost on that terrible day in New York City and in Pennsylvania, I thought a poem that affirms heaven and the infinite connection, the eternal connection between heaven and earth would be most appropriate. And so my poem is entitled Heliotrope by Keith S. Wilson, and I found it on poetryfoundation.org, www.poetryfoundation.org, a wonderful resource for poem lovers, for poetry lovers, and so I'd like to share it with you. Heliocentric by Keith S. Wilson, and he begins with a little epigram, a quotation from Homer. If I beg and pray you to set me free, then bind me more tightly still. Now that is a sense that we can never be severed from our relationships. Nothing can separate us. And that's an important thought for today. I'm striving to be a better astronaut. But consider where I'm coming from. The exosphere. A desk where the bluest air thins to a lip. Impossible to know the difference from where I sit and space. I promise I still dream of coming back to you, settling on your yellow for the kitchen. We won't fight. Let it not manifest, not over the crumpled bodies of laundry. Let us not row over the nail polish, its color, the spilled sun. Inspiration is the deadliest radiation. It never completely leaves the bones. You know, from here, there are no obstructions, but the radiant nothingness. An aurora borealis opens like a fish. This, to the pyramids, yes, to a great wall, and there you are, moving from curtain to curtain. Oh, to fantasize of having chosen some design with you. But the moon is over Jupiter. But asteroids, like gods deadened by the weight of waiting. I remember you said pastel for the cabinet where the spice rack lives. That I ought to have picked you up flowers when I had the chance. Daisy, iris, sun, red roses. ultraviolet, the color of love. What else? What else but this startles the air open like an egg? I'm really trying to be better, to commit to memory the old songs about the ground, to better sense your latitudes, to see the corona of your face. Take your light as it arrives. Earth is heavenly too, but know that time is precious here. How wine waits years and years to peak. What is there to do? I've made love to satellites in your name. I'm saying I can't say when I'll return. Remember me, for here are dragons and the noble songs of sirens, stars that sway Elysian, ships that will not more, lovers who are filled with blood and nothing more. Who could love you like this? What else? Who else will sew you in the stars? Who better knows your gravity and goes otherwise to catastrophe? I've schemed and promised to bring you back our ring from Saturn. But a week passes, or doesn't manage. Everything steers impossible against the boundless curb of light. Believe, I tried for you. Against space, time takes almost everything away. To you, for you. A toast to the incredible. I almost wish I'd never seen the sky when always there was you. Sincerely. This was published in September of 2018, so it's 2 years old. Beautiful, isn't it? And a little footnote about that word catastrophe. If we go back to its origin, it doesn't quite mean the tragic events, not even the one that we're commemorating today, but in this sense, it means turning everything inside out. And so that even grief and mourning in this catastrophic way gets turned inside out to a sense of joy. What seemed forever apart is now connected intimately. And did you know that science tells us in some of those amazing experiments that they were able to cut an electron into two parts, one electron into two parts, and they sent one of the electrons out light years away in a satellite and being able to observe it while they kept the other half here. And they found that whatever they did to the electron here on Earth, the electron in the stratosphere, the exosphere, reacted the same way. It was so intimately still connected to its other part. And so this poem, heliocentric, that might be a good word to look up, is not only on the surface, it seems certainly like a poem, a message from a husband to a wife or a wife to a husband, but it could be a lover to a lover, or really to anyone who's really cared about anyone else. And I just love it. Did I mention it has a sense of the biblical dynamic? I think I did, yes, the Book of Wisdom. I did tell you that. I was so caught up in the poem, I don't remember what I shared with you. But let us pray now on this September 11th, the 19th anniversary of the tragedy of all those lives were lost, and for a special way, for all those who continue to mourn and grieve the loss. And that may they really have a sense of comfort, and may faith abound in their lives, whatever their faith may be, but faith in a loving God who never lets love die, that it continues on to eternity, and may they find comfort in their loved ones in heaven, in an experience, not necessarily a place, but a reality of ongoing life that never ends, that's intimately connected with us in what we Catholic Christians call the communion of saints. So thank you so much for joining me. And a little bit of next week, I'm going to have Young at Heart in 2 parts next week. Part 1, I'm going to share with you my rendition of The 3 Little Pigs. And part 2, I'm going to offer you a link of a comedian who shall at the moment remain nameless, because I want you to be surprised. But my friend Nicholas Markel sent me a link. There's this comedy website, and this guy, wonderful, recited The 3 Little Pigs as if it were written in Elizabethan language. And it's really a delight. So you'll get my rendition and then a link to his in part 2. So I hope that you will join me. And meanwhile, look up your favorite rendition of The 3 Little Pigs. See if you can locate that childhood book that you might still have on your shelf. I'll share with you what book that I still remember. And actually, I have a copy of my version of The 3 Little Pigs that I was first introduced to. And lastly, I've always thought, as I grew as to an adult and began to study the Bible, I believe that there's a biblical source that inspired this folktale of The 3 Little Pigs. Maybe you know it too, but I will reveal that all next Friday, so I hope you join me for Late Night Friday, Young at Heart. Meanwhile, I hope you all have a wonderful evening for the rest of the evening and a good night's sleep. Until next time, or join me Monday morning, sometime before 12 noon, when I will upload the next chapter of Luke Live online on my YouTube page as well as on Facebook. Thanks for joining me. Have a great night. Good night, everyone. God bless.